And good morning. I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News coming to you from our digital desk. We're going to kind of walk through with you this morning the troubles that are being popping up because of this lake effect storm that's really been impacting Northeast Ohio. And it's not just the east side anymore. These lake effect bands have been pushing into downtown and a little bit to the west side. Not everybody on the west side is seeing the problems, but we do want to show you this is going to be one of the major problems in downtown Cleveland. There are several street lights out. This is one of our snow trackers approaching. I believe this is Euclid and East 9th, and if you look just ahead, there are no street lights. We can see flashing lights from officers. They're monitoring some of the major intersections, but a lot of East 9th does not have stoplights right now. That is obviously a major problem. You have a storm. There's our Noelle Williams that is reporting on this for us. We'll get her to turn that camera back around. But this is a major problem. I want to get to some of the snow level emergencies. Ashtabula County, and this is very important. Again, this is the east side because of the major lake effect snow that is coming in. Ashtabula County is under a level 3 snow emergency. That is the highest level that is put out there by any county. That means that no one is supposed to be out driving in Ashtabula County except for emergency vehicles and obviously snow crews. I want to repeat that. Ashtabula County under a level 3 snow emergency, meaning no one should be out there driving on the roads. I want to take another look here at East 9th. Let's remember our driver's ed classes. When you pull up to an intersection and trying to see, no, they're just people not doing this correctly. If you pull up to any intersection without a stoplight, you are supposed to stop, and it becomes a 4-way stop. Not just roll through it like you're seeing traffic up there do. It is supposed to be a one at a time, stop your vehicle, check both ways, and then pull through the intersection. Again, breaking news. If you are commuting into downtown Cleveland this morning, you may want to see if you can work from home. You may want to call the boss and see if there's any other opportunity for you because we're not even at rush hour yet. You add in the snow, you add in the fact that stoplights are out along East 9th, and it is a mess. We've had some of our producers that had to come in very early this morning. They said that some of these lights have been out since 2 a.m. Here we are, 5:30 or 7:30. We're talking 5.5 hours later. Still no progress on getting the stoplights turned back on in downtown Cleveland. I noticed it on my way in. 9th and Prospect is out. This is Euclid and 9th. It's out. It's also out at Chester and 9th. You can see it's that thoroughfare. Now, just imagine the conditions that we're dealing with right now and put on top of that the rest of the morning commute. Going to take a look. Some of these cameras I don't have control over, so they may switch from time to time. Our weather traffic reporter and weather department has control of these as well. Here is 422 at Chagrin Boulevard. We know that I-271 is a mess, and we're starting to see the morning traffic tick up. This is not a great situation to be in. Blizzard-like conditions is what our morning team is talking about. In fact, let's listen in on Jamie's traffic report real quick.
Just 1 or 2 inches of snow on the ground with it blowing and the dropping cold. It's just not a great morning out there on the roads. Lots of school closures this morning, too. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Kelly Dobeck.
And we're tracking power outages this morning as well. Even some traffic lights out in downtown Cleveland. You got to treat that as a 4-way stop. I'm Shannon Smith. Jamie's been busy because these roads and these ramps, it is bad out there, especially out east, Jeff, and that is where we're seeing those heavier bursts of snow right now.
Yeah, and I noticed too, we even have a little snow in downtown.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's totally cleared off either.
Yeah, but as you head east, it gets real bad. In fact, we're even suggesting, avoid travel if at all possible. You're not going to be able to go anywhere most likely in Ashtabula County. All roads closed there. level 3 snow emergency. And it continues here. It continues. We have heavy snow in Geauga County. That 271 corridor is awful. Now, what I think is going to happen here, and everything's happening over on the east side, west side, Medina County, even the city of Akron, it's not that bad here. But this is going to continue to slowly wind down this early morning burst. We'll get into a little lull, and then I expect another burst here starting maybe around lunchtime. And I'll explain all of this coming up. No changes here. Lake effect snow warnings continue. Counties in pink, Cleveland, especially Northern Summit, Northern Portage, and we'll see what happens Lorain County, Medina County. I think you could see some snow this afternoon, but now through tonight is, we still have gusts over 50, unbelievable. So of course you got high impact travel where you have that snow. And we do expect more lake effect snow this afternoon. It's going to remain windy, but the strongest winds this morning, highs around 30. Jamie?
Well, your first alert to breaking traffic. The conditions are horrible. We're not exaggerating. Take a look at the TV right now. This is 271 at Chagrin Boulevard. Our express lanes, we've got a lot of people with their flashers on, especially in the local lanes right now. And think about the plows. They can't get through here effectively like they should be. This is Chagrin Boulevard over 271. You were just driving in that slush. Jeff had mentioned a level 3 snow emergency and said don't go on the roads. Well, that is exactly what that means. All of the roads are closed. Township, county, as well as state roads. Only if it is absolutely necessary do they want you on the roads in Ashtabula County. It is just for emergency.
And Dan DeRose going to jump in here as you just heard Jamie, and you're watching some of our live coverage on Channel 19, but we're also bringing you digital coverage here throughout the morning. Jamie stressing that a snow emergency in Ashtabula County. That means you are not supposed to be on the road in Geauga County. In Ashtabula. Ashtabula sitting at a level 3 snow emergency, meaning they should not be out there. Our Noel Williams is covering the streetlight situation in downtown. We're going to dip into her report here as well, just because they're on top of everything. You've got some lights out in downtown.
Well, right now we're at the intersection of 9th Street, East 9th Street and Euclid Avenue, and there is a Cleveland police officer here at the intersection, so people have no other choice but to treat it at a 4-way stop. Now, in addition to several blocks on East 9th Street with the lights out, we've also noticed that there's also several blocks on Euclid Avenue where the traffic lights are out, so this is not a good sign at all. Now, over the last maybe 15-20 minutes, we've seen more Cleveland police officers at each intersection directing traffic, especially as the morning picks up and people head out to work. This is just a recipe for disaster on top of the snow piling up outside. Now, when it comes to streets and how they're moving and how they're feeling right now, thankfully most of them are clear. Now, we've been driving around downtown Cleveland to see if there's any other areas that we're seeing that this is happening here, but if you look straight ahead, you can still see there are several other blocks where the light is out. This is East 6th Street and Euclid Avenue. That traffic light is out, and even the block and several blocks ahead, those traffic lights are out. So we're hoping that the city can get this resolved soon. 19 News will continue monitoring this situation, and hopefully this gets fixed sooner than later. Reporting live in the Snow Tracker, Noel Williams, 19 News.
And thank Noel for that. We're looking at a bad situation made even worse. Jamie Sullivan and Kelly Dobeck working. This is I-271 at I-480 North. We're looking south here, and you can see there is some sort of accident. I'm not sure if that is, I'm trying to get my orientation here. I'm not sure if that's the ramp from 271 or the ramp from I-480, but it is blocked. There appears to be some sort of accident there on the left side. No one being allowed through on that area. So again, let's reset this, folks. This is a bad situation this morning. It is terrible out there. It's more the wind. We're not looking at huge accumulations here. We're talking about that wind blowing any work that the plows might be able to do. Within 2 minutes after they go through, the wind just screws up everything that they have just accomplished. It blows it right back onto the road. I drove in, got in just about half hour ago, and that was a treacherous drive, to say the least. I believe we've got Noel Williams is going to join us here. Noel, you're driving through downtown. This is a bad situation made worse. The city of Cleveland needs to get this figured out as we inch into rush hour here.
Yeah, Dan, we just left Euclid Avenue. We're going to swing back around and try to drive down East 9th, but we saw that there were at least maybe 5-6 blocks without those working traffic lights. Now, thankfully, there are several Cleveland police officers working on the roads at those intersections to make sure those drivers are going at a safe speed and also making that four-way stop. Now, here's also what we're seeing when it comes to roadways. Thankfully, they're not as bad compared to other areas like Independence or Broadview Heights. But that combination with the snow on the ground, with the traffic lights not working, could make a recipe for disaster. That can make for accidents, especially as the traffic picks up throughout the morning, Dan.
Yeah, and Noel, I'm going to stay with you here for just a little bit. Feel free to just put your camera there back towards the front so we can see the conditions. You can see Public Hall there on your left, and they're going to get up here to 9th Street, and that's the issue. And Noel, this isn't just something that's been just for the last, 20, 30 minutes. From what I hear, these traffic lights have been out for hours now.
Yeah, Dan, I came into the station around 3 o'clock this morning, and I know they were out before that speaking to some of our co-workers. It's been like that throughout the morning. I'm not sure exactly what the cause of this is. We did know something like this happened. It's very similar to this happened about a month ago where several of the blocks here on East 9th Street, those traffic lights were out. We assumed that they got it fixed in. Honestly, something else has happened since. But right after this street here in Rockwell, that's when the streets just go black.
Yeah, we can see that there. You get one light on Rockwell, but the next intersection, I believe St. Clair, is coming up. I mean, this is not a problem you want to have when drivers are worried about the snow and a little bit of the ice. And now all of a sudden, as you see Noel pulling up here, Noel, how many blocks can you count up that just don't have traffic lights?
Dan, it has to be, well, we just passed one, so 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 or 6 along East 9th Street. Now on Euclid Avenue, we counted about 4 blocks where there was no lights as well. And this on top of the snow, especially with this wind, it's also making it hard for drivers. But there's a total probably of about 9 to 10 blocks where there are no working traffic lights.
And obviously, we're not the experts here, but you would think you would want an officer at each intersection because we know how these are supposed to be treated. If the light is out, you're supposed to stop. It's a four-way stop. But you're seeing people aren't abiding by that.
Yeah, right now the only Cleveland police officer I'm seeing right now is at the intersection of East 9th Street and Euclid Avenue, and that seems to be the busiest road. But as you already stated, people are making their way downtown right now to head to work or head to wherever they need to go right now. So it would be smarter to have it at every intersection. We're going to keep heading down East 9th Street to see what we're seeing, but you can see there's at least another 2 blocks where there is no working traffic lights, and the traffic is picking up compared to 3 o'clock in the morning when I came into work. There were no cars here, and the roads were not as slick as they are right now.
Yeah, this is just absolutely a mess. Again, it's been since at least 2 this morning that the city has known these street lights. The traffic lights are out. You can see the Metropolitan, the 9 there on your left. Here comes Prospect and East 9th. This is the major thoroughfare. You're dealing with a snowstorm and you're dealing with traffic lights out, and there's not an officer at every intersection. There don't appear to be any city crews out trying to get these stoplights back on and operational. This is going to make for Just an absolute nightmarish commute into downtown, and dangerous. Look at this pedestrian trying to walk across. That is a dangerous situation. Noel, we thank you for your reporting here. We're going to leave your shot up and take a look at it every once in a while. So we certainly appreciate it. Thank you, Noel Williams.
No problem.
All right. We're going to continue our coverage. What we can do now is Vic Gideon is also in one of our snow trackers. Vic, we're not going to see you on camera. Some people say that it's not such a bad thing. But let's talk about where you're at this morning and the conditions you're seeing there on the east side. Where are you at?
I am at 271. We just got off the ramp here at Mayfield Road, and the star of the morning is obviously these weather conditions. That's what we need to be focused on. So we just got off an exit ramp, and certainly those are pretty snow covered, but we were on 271 and we're flipping it around. We're going to be heading back on 271, heading southbound. But really the conditions, the whiteout conditions here, just about maybe a quarter mile of visibility and snow falling, and then the wind whipping up, bringing more snow, creating kind of an issue here with, maybe a quarter mile of visibility. Sloppy road conditions, a little heavy, the snow, not super waterlogged, but again, it is definitely sloppy. And earlier in the morning, we saw Odot crews out. They had their blades down. They had obviously pre-treated the road with the brine, but then obviously now with all this new snowfall, these roads are pretty white. In fact, only in certain areas they're down to one lane. We see a truck coming up here on us now. Again, blade down, two trucks actually, blade down, trying to get these roads clear. These are probably Mayfield trucks, and we have seen them kind of in a caravan all morning long going up and down Mayfield Village, up and down Mayfield Road here to try to clear them off. In fact, there's 4 of them, but they've been doing a great job trying to keep these roads clear here in the suburb. But again, people trying to commute on I-271, we've seen extremely slow conditions. When we get back on, you'll see we're going about 25 miles an hour at best. That is our peak speed. And again, we've seen throughout the morning, our tires have been slipping. We've done a little fishtailing, but we've seen cars and trucks off to the side of the road. In fact, earlier we saw a truck jackknifed off of 271, which is a warning to everyone to know that even professionals, even people that are used to driving for a living, certainly can, this weather can get the best of them. So we're heading back on this is the entrance ramp onto I-271. You can see, again, it used to be a situation where we could see some pavement. Now all you basically see is that brown slop, and as we start merging with traffic on I-271, you can't even see it. The roads, the visibility is so poor, but extremely heavy traffic as we head on 271 southbound heading to Chagrin. Again, I think the traffic volume a little bit down, certainly. Many school buses off the road today. Many people probably not commuting to work. They're probably doing their work from home today, or at least many of them. But again, traffic is slow here. But we've seen plenty of trucks out here, plenty of opportunities to try to get these roads clear. But I don't think the crews can keep up with it.
Yeah, it's been a rough morning to say the least. Vic, your crew out there want you to stay safe. Keep your shot up. We'll take a peek from time to time, but I also want to look at the situation in downtown Cleveland because with those street lights out, let's take a bad situation and make it even worse. And I think we need to be critical of the city of Cleveland right now. There's Prospect, and I believe this is the area of Prospect and East 9th, a block off. Let's be just a little bit critical here. These traffic lights have been out since at least 2 in the morning. One of our executive producers comes into the studio, comes into the station here at about 2 in the morning. The traffic lights were out then. Here we are coming up on 8 o'clock, 6 hours later. The snow, the commute about to reach fever pitch here, and no progress whatsoever on getting these traffic lights back up and running. Let's go through again some of the snow emergencies. I can't repeat this enough. Ashtabula County, poor Ashtabula, poor Geauga County, Lake County, they have really been put through it for the last week. But because of that and because of the heavy lake effect bands this morning, within the last hour, Ashtabula County has gone to a level 3 snow emergency. Here's another light right there in front of the Jack Casino that is out. Ashtabula County level 3 snow emergency. That is the highest level that is out there. That means no one on any street is supposed to be out except for emergency vehicles. Obviously, that includes snowplows and county crews and workers today. But if you are in Ashtabula County, hey, call your boss and say, hey, there's a snow emergency. I am not supposed to be on the road. If your boss has an adverse reaction to that, give us a call here at the station. It is a level 3 snow emergency, meaning no one is supposed to be on the roads in Ashtabula County. We know Erie County is at a level 1. That is obviously the lowest. We do have to tell you, in downtown Cleveland, there is an emergency parking ban on any city street in downtown Cleveland. If you are brave enough to try and come down with all the problems today, do not park on any surface street in downtown Cleveland. There is a snow emergency and you will be towed. Want to make sure we get the word out about that. That is the situation that we're dealing with today. Again, from bad to worse is the situation. I'm going to take a live look here. This is, I believe this is the shoreway to get into downtown. Or no, this is, I believe this is 71, and we can see that it looks like there's been an accident on the right side. This is now restricted to one lane. We can read that sign right there. No, maybe this is I-90. We can read the sign that says the 4 right lanes ahead are blocked, that they need to merge left. And it looks like they just cleared that. That is the good news. You can see they're now letting people move for all areas. What I wanted to see on that sign when it flips, a 12-minute drive from that point to get to downtown. So that's not terrible, but I'm sure that number is a little bit off based on the backup that we've just seen. So all over the area. And Akron, Canton, you're probably saying, what the heck is going on? We've got a little dusting here, but up here by the lake and on the east side, it has been just pretty treacherous is a good word, as we see our snow tracker here coming through a public square. A number of accidents all throughout the area. I want to show you the Ohgo camera here. This is the Ohio Department of Transportation, sort of their process of showing just how bad things are out there. And the more it looks like a Christmas tree, that is not a good situation. Every red exclamation point like this one here, this is at I-90 eastbound. We've got the reduced speeds in that area. We can even check on some of the cameras out in this region. Let's look at I-90 at Payne Road. Just real thick snow out there. It looks like it's still the dark of morning in that area because the snow is so heavy. We do know it's heaviest on the east side. Here we are at the Ashtabula County line. Folks, there's supposed to be 2 lanes there in that picture, 2 lanes of driving, and that's just not happening. Just one lane barely cleared there. As we get a little bit closer into Cleveland, here we are near Highland Heights, Richmond Heights. This is I-480 at State Route 8. And again, just a slow go of stuck traffic. Again, this is one of those days, if you can call into your boss and work from home, that would be best. Let's take a live listen in with Jeff Tanchek and an update on the weather.
Loop here, I'm starting to see signs of this wanting to shrink, and I am expecting a little bit of a lull here for a few hours this morning, and then things are going to pick back up. I think here that by, let's say, noon, but locally over 8 inches where squalls persist. Our latest data is telling us that could be like in the Solon area, northern Portage County, and inland Geauga County. Real windy, still potential wind gusts over 50 downtown Cleveland at 9 a.m. and 46 gusts at 11 a.m., slowly diminishing, but still over 35 gusts, it looks like, through this evening. Know before you go after this. Stay with us.
And there we go. That's latest updated traffic from Jeff Tanchek. I want to give you an update on First Energy power outages. Again, as we drive through downtown, continued lights out. Here we are at East 6th and Euclid in downtown. No traffic lights in and around. It's about a 4 or 5 block area that seems to be centered on East 9th. And as we get closer up here, there was an officer at one point sitting at this intersection. He's no longer there. I've got to be. I've got to be honest. I can't. It's hard for me to believe that there is no one directing traffic. There are not officers that I can see out there directing traffic. And let's remember how this is supposed to work. When you pull up on a traffic light that is out, it is supposed to be a 4-way stop. You saw about 6, 7, 8, 9 cars go through there. Our weather tracker is trying to get through, and nobody is allowing that to happen. Finally, how are there not officers out directing traffic? It is rush hour. It is snowing. These street lights, traffic lights have been out since at least 2 in the morning, and there's not a single officer directing traffic. I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit flabbergasted at this. I don't understand. Here's another section. This is East 12th and Euclid that's out. How are there not any officers out directing traffic? How is there not a city crew somewhere setting up lights, getting those lights back on, directing traffic, helping police get that routed? Here, the lights are working here as we pull into Playhouse Square. But again, this is pretty interesting to me. We won't totally harp on that. Here's another look live at 271. I believe this is I-271. Conditions there just terrible. This is where the thickest of the lake effect snow is right now. We know the areas of Mayfield, Oakwood Village, Geauga County, they have really been getting smacked this morning, and it's causing for a rough commute. Again, we'll reset here. You're watching our live digital coverage throughout this morning of just what are some really bad lake effect conditions, compounding things. You've got street lights out in downtown. I want to repeat for everyone in Ashtabula County, you are under a level 3 snow emergency. That is the highest level. That went out about an hour ago. As we look at I-271 now backing up even further, a level 3 snow emergency in Ashtabula County. That means no one is supposed to be on the streets in Ashtabula County. Here's one intersection that we see finally an officer trying to, or at least setting up with his flashing lights on to tell people that the lights are out. But if you are in Ashtabula County, you better call the boss and say, hey, we're under a level 3 snow emergency. That means no one is supposed to be out there driving unless you are part of city services, county services, and emergency vehicles. They need people off the street so they can try and keep up with the conditions. You can see in downtown some clearing. I'm not sure if that's blue sky or if that's just a little bit of morning sun trying to come through there. I don't think it's blue sky, but our camera, the iris messing with that just a little bit. But the snow seems to have really backed off, and the wind appears to have backed off in downtown Cleveland. Now, if we could just get city crews out there to turn traffic lights back on, figure out what the heck is going on there, that would be beneficial for the morning commute. But I suspect there's a lot of people who are going to work from home. Let's listen to Jeff Tanchek's latest update.
Around 30. 34 Saturday, mostly cloudy. Look at Sunday, sunny, 48, and we're talking rain Sunday night, and we could be up around 51 on Monday here, mostly cloudy, and in the 40s on Tuesday, ladies.
It's a lot going on. Look at this from across our area, from everywhere in Madison.
Jeff Tanchek jumping off the air there as we wrap up our coverage on WUAB. We're going to continue for a while here as things seem to be getting a little bit better under control than they have been, except for that east side. We look again here at 271, and it is a disaster out there. The traffic conditions, the blowing snow, the thick lake effect bands really impacting the morning commute. Can't stress it enough. If you don't have to be out there, if you have the ability to work from home, especially on the east side, if your kids are off home, probably a lot of school cancellations, make sure you check cleveland19.com for the complete list. But schools are pretty good about texting and emailing parents now that their schools are closed, so you know that ahead of time. But why not try and take the day off, work from home, because conditions are so bad. We're going to continue to monitor downtown. Our snow tracker here pulling back up towards East 9th. This is East 4th. Still no lights on East 4th. And Euclid here, the city of Cleveland has a major problem, and it has not been corrected now for 6 hours leading up to rush hour. Not sure how this happens, not sure what the fix is, but the fact that we don't see a single traffic cop traffic officer at any one of these intersections directing traffic, making sure people are following the rules. And by the way, you see all these cars parked in downtown. Yeah, don't be shocked when you come out to your car and it's gone. Downtown Cleveland is in a snow parking ban, a snow emergency. No one is supposed to be parking on downtown Cleveland streets right now. Look, here's the situation. Look at our snow tracker pulling up to East 9th and Euclid. Do you see a traffic cop anywhere? Do you see any officer, any cars parked anywhere? Not one. And here's this dangerous situation. It was clearly our turn to go, and people are not. Look at that red car. Didn't even bother to stop. This is going to get someone hurt. I'm surprised it hasn't happened already, but people are not following the rules. People who don't know that when you pull up to a stoplight that's out, that is just black, you are supposed to stop and treat it as a four-way stop. People just not doing that. Our 19 News on UAB getting reset here, so let's listen in.
Compared to the east side, it is bad this morning. Of course, now you know why it is a 19 First Alert weather day. Thanks for being here with us this morning. I'm Jamie Sullivan, bringing in 19 First Alert meteorologist Jeff Tanchek, because we've got such severe conditions out there. In Ashtabula County, they have issued a level 3 snow emergency, which means all roads are closed. You cannot go out on the roads.
Right.
It is that bad.
Emergency personnel.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so, the thing that's interesting, and, you showed us all those cameras, and when you look at the radar, okay, and this is the thing whenever we talk about lake effect, most of our region, you're not getting anything, okay? It's fine. Yeah, we may have some icy spots because of the big drop in temperature, but then you get into the lake effect area, and it's a totally different ball game here, where the snow continues to come down, heavy at times. Lenox Center, Hartsgrove, Chardon. Now things starting to improve along the I-90 corridor. It's not as bad now between Mentor and Madison. This is all happening pretty much inland here through Geauga County, Russell Township. It's still snowing in Solon, about 3-4 inches there since this started early this morning. And then you can see how we're trying to get this out of here. Either it's shrinking, starting to move east, and I think the reason for that is this. We have low pressure, and this thing went right across the lake, and that's what really helped to develop the significant lake effect snow round that we're seeing early this morning. But as this continues to track east, I'm expecting a little bit of a lull, but we're not done yet. We're going to get more lake effect here starting up around midday. We have very cold air in place, coldest air November, December that we have seen here. It's a bit of an Arctic air mass, if you will, where the temperature in Mansfield is 19. We're at 24 in Cleveland, and now everybody reporting single-digit wind chill. Feels like 9 in Cleveland, except Ashtabula, they're 14. These winds have been brutal, especially along the lakeshore. Currently, you have a northwest wind 30 in Menor, gusting to 37, but in and around downtown, another wind gust over 50. 52, that's right by the Rock Hall, that's right by the water here. So I'm going to show you more throughout the half hour, but just so you know, additional snow today. We're expecting upwards of 8 inches possible, if not locally more, where squalls persist. And currently the bullseye seems to be in the spot where you're getting snow right now. Solon area, parts of Geauga County, northern Portage County, and the high today, 31 in Cleveland. Maybe a bit of a break, but then we're going to have more lake effect snow and snow squalls set up by this afternoon. I'll show you that. Akron, Canton, I think you'll start to see some snow this afternoon, mainly for you. And look at your high, only 26, Jamie.
Your first alert to breaking traffic right now. Very snowy and icy conditions. This is 271 near Broadway, but I put this arrow up to show you that you can barely see the signs. That is what we are dealing with. Visibility drops. When this snow blows, you're going to see some of those ramps where the snow is building up, which will be harder. We had Shannon and Kelly talk to Amanda McFarland earlier this morning with Odot, and she said the plows can only go as fast as our commuters are going, so they're not able to clear as much as we would like and see, but they are out there. They're just not able to do that because they can only go as fast as what traffic is going. The crash on 480 eastbound at Broadway still sticking around. Looks like we've got a new one. This is your first alert in the Euclid area, possibly right near East 185th Street. We'll check on that for you. 77 northbound, bumper to bumper from Fairlawn, continuing up towards Richfield, still with the left lane blocked with that accident. If you live in Ashtabula County, we have been first alerting you throughout the morning to now a level 3 snow emergency. So only emergency crews on the road, no one else. All those roads are closed. That's in the township, the county, as well as the state. Only if it is absolutely necessary do they want you out there on the roads. In Lake County this morning, that stretch on 44 or on 90 between 44 and 528 in the variable speed limit zone, Odot has dropped that to 40 miles per hour. So I've been able to show you some of these live looks this morning, like here 271 at Broadway. Different vantage point though this morning when we continue now with our 19 first alert team coverage. 19's Vic Gideon is in the storm.
Dan DeRosa with 19 News. What we're going to do is you just heard that first alert from Jamie about an accident in the Euclid area. We can get you that. I'm going to focus our window here just a little bit more to get this drawn in. She was talking about the East 85th area. The good news is that it appears this accident or these accidents are not on the highway. Perhaps that's a construction area off East 85th. The Ohgo camera here, let's check it out. East 85th, let's get the large view here. Looks like there are some flashing lights in the middle of, and we'll see on our next screen capture here. No, I'm not seeing any accident here on the highway. That's the good news. This is I-90 at East 85th Street. Not sure what Ohgo is indicating as that accident. In Euclid, I'm looking at some of the lights ahead right up underneath the timestamp there, but they seem to at least be moving. So nothing showing as of yet. Let's take a look at some of our other cameras provided by Odot on the east side. And I know we don't have to go too far to get out into this area to where we will see some pretty bad situations. Here we are at in the Willowick area, State Route 2. This is near East 305th Street. Not too terrible. I mean, you can at least here you can make out the lanes where you're supposed to be driving. That's always a positive. Looks like we do maybe have a new incident. No, this is just the reduced speeds area that Jamie was just talking about. Boy, I'll pull this camera up and wow, I-90 at Hermitage Road. Yeah, you can see some headlights there to the left but that is some thick lake effect snow. Barely anything visible from the camera. Let's find the next camera up here. This is at I-90 near State Route 44. Not as thick, so that shows you exactly what's happening. Is that band can be just a mile or 2 miles or 3 miles wide, but it's near whiteout conditions for that. Look how much darker it is there in our eastern counties. And finally, let's go back to a live look now. I'm not sure if somebody heard us, but finally we see our first traffic officer out there on Prospect and 9th, now taking control of the situation. Just a shade under 6 hours later, do we see our first traffic officer handling the situation. That is good news. At least some help for downtown in those situations. And we'll get a live report from Noel here in a moment. I believe Jamie has this pulled up. I'll have to see exactly where this is. Sometimes she zooms this camera in a little bit too much and I can't make out where it's at. But you can see the conditions. I'm guessing this is on the east side, probably. I'm not sure if it's not the 271 angle that we were seeing earlier, or maybe it is. But that just shows you the conditions that are out there. If you're on the east side, this is just a terrible day to try and be out there. And in fact, I'm going to try and find where that is. Here's one of our cameras on 271. Let's go back here, get a little bit more of a perspective. Here we are, I-271 at Mayfield. You can see the different angles here from that bridge. At least you can see lanes. That is a big improvement over what we've seen for much of the morning, that you can see where you're supposed to be driving. I'm going to find another camera here on 271 to see just how bad things are. This is 271 at Cedar Road. I can see a backup. If you look on that upper left camera there, we can see a backup there on the left lanes that we're looking at there. But again, things are becoming improved. Look, nothing is great, especially on the east side, but as Jeff has been saying in his latest weather, we've even seen the lake effect is starting to maybe collapse on itself. Here we are at Chagrin Boulevard. Look at the lower right. That's terrible. 271 at Chagrin Boulevard. That's white knuckle driving, to say the least. When you have kind of a lane, part of a lane, look at the upper right in this quad box from Odot. You get some lane markings. That's just rough driving. We've all been through situations like that, and it's not great. I believe we have. Is Noel not back in yet? Okay. Okay, we're hearing from Cleveland Public Power. They are the ones that are supposedly behind the streetlight outages in downtown Cleveland. The latest report from Cleveland Public Power is that they have, quote unquote, made significant improvements in getting some of the lights back on, and that they are working to restore some of the other streetlights. That we will wait for that to become a full reality as we continue to see our weather tracker, our snow tracker in downtown Cleveland monitoring East 9th Street and just how many of the traffic lights are out there. So we will wait. We'll have a live report with Noel Williams here in a minute. In the meantime, take a look at the live camera picture. I believe this is 271. There is clearly another squall moving through this area. Look at the flashing lights on all the semi trucks, the backing up of traffic. This is, again, a completely different picture when you look at the east side in Geauga County near when we're looking at Mayfield, Oakwood Village, Chagrin Boulevard area, completely night and day compared to downtown. No snow in downtown at the current time, but traffic lights that aren't working. But we feel for our people on the east side. Let's repeat, Ashtabula County, you are in a level 3 snow emergency. No one is to be on the road unless it's absolutely necessary. That's really a move to try and get help for emergency crews that they can be doing their job out there. Our snow tracker approaching East 9th here. I'm going to guess they're going to take a right again here on East 9th. What I'm noticing about traffic in downtown as we are now in the middle of rush hour is that it doesn't look too bad, and it may be that people got the warning ahead of time. People have been watching Cleveland 19 this morning. They've been deciding to stay home if they can. That's a nice position to have, not always the case, but you can see 271 on the east side has really been the sore spot for today, and it's not getting any better, although Jeff said we are seeing improvements, that the lake effect seems to be starting to cut back at this time. We're going to go back to our snow tracker here as it approaches East 9th. The good news is I'm not seeing terrible backups, which tells us not every commuter decided to make the trip into downtown today. And we are seeing lights where, I'm trying to think, we didn't have, this light was working before. I think our first light out was on Rockwell and East 9th, and that's the next block. We'll see if that light has been restored, the traffic light. But what we're going to do is we'll stay with this for the time being. We'll wrap up here fairly shortly. We'll wait for Jeff Tanchek to do his next weather hit to give us an idea, because he's been talking about how things are going to wind down this morning. But then hold on, we're not through it yet. 1, 2 o'clock, it's going to unfortunately start up again. And that's going to be welcome news for our evening commute. So just a terrible day all the way around in Northeast Ohio. Bosses, please have some understanding that people are going to be late, trying to take their time getting into work, stuck in traffic situations like this on the east side. Another live look at I-271, and what a terrible situation out there. Just brutal to have to go through this. As we get in downtown now, this is a welcome sight. This is Rockwell and East 9th. This traffic light is back up. It was not working. It was not operational for most, if not all, of the early morning hours today. We're approaching, this is St. Clair and 9th. I'm trying to see if the light is working, and it does not appear to be working. It is not. Again, we have heard from Cleveland Public Power now. They are claiming that they are getting most of the lights back up and running, but clearly not all. Here is Superior and East 9th. That is not up and running. We're pulling up to Chester. It does not appear that Chester and East 9th is back up. But again, notice that the traffic is not horrible. It is not backed up bumper to bumper, nobody moving. So that tells me a couple of things. First of all, people are handling it the right way, but it also says that a lot of people may have just foregone the commute this morning. We can even take a live look now here from our Vic Gideon. He's in another weather tracker. Let's listen in.
Earlier, actually, when we got out of the car for just a moment, our temperature outside is 22, 23 degrees. But if you have any issues out there, be prepared. So even if you're getting from your house to the car, getting in the car and thinking you're just going to get to wherever you need to go, if you have to get outside, if you get stranded, or if you, for example, have to gas up, the temperature is extremely cold out there and the wind was whipping by. But again, we see a car. This is what we've seen all morning long. There's a car that has spun off the road and is in the berm. It's actually off the road. Certainly, it's disabled at this point. But again, some issues as we've seen throughout the morning. Spinning tires, we've seen that. And again, looks like the roads have cleared up a little bit. Earlier in the morning, we saw one lane of traffic. We've got 2 lanes where we can actually see pavement here on I-271. And this could be a lull period. Not that we should certainly forget about the facts, all those safety things we've been pointing out. But again, we might be at a period where we might be getting a little bit better out here on the east side of Cleveland. Reporting live from the Storm Tracker, Vic Gideon, 19 News.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast. Certified most accurate since 2004.
Yeah, Jeff just said good observation. And as soon as Vic said, it seems like things are getting a little bit better, Jeff is like, they are. So that's a good sign.
Slowly.
Yes,
okay,
I was going to say, it is. Vic has been up and down that stretch for the past 3.5 hours. So when he says it's getting better, it's because he has seen it at its worst. The one area we're talking about, though, is still the snow belt. Geauga County, you said, still getting hit right now.
It's still getting hit. But I think we're going to get into a little lull here for a time, and then we're going to expect another burst midday here. But yeah, I think the worst is over for now anyway, along the 271 corridor. In fact, I just updated my snow tracker map. I'll show you that. But here you see, and I have this radar set to where it's coming down the hardest. That's this, darker blue color here. And it's still snowing in Geauga County here, especially in the, traditional areas, Chardon, Newberry, Chesterland, although I think it's going to start winding down slowly in Chesterland here. And then Auburn, that's going to be a rough stretch along 422. But you see here along 271, Vic is exactly right. That's good reporting. I'm starting to see at least the heavy snow wind down. Still a little moderate burst there, Walton Hills and inland Ashtabula County. So we've been tracking this area of low pressure that is rapidly moving east of us. And I think that's why we're going to get into a little bit of a lull here. But you can see more lake effect off of Lake Michigan. Notice how we have more of a northwest steering wind there. Okay, so that's what I think we're going to eventually see here as well. So you folks inland west, you might get snow later on today, but this is that low pressure system. It's actually now east of Erie, Pennsylvania. Okay, so this is my updated snow tracker map. And remember, we've already picked up a good 3-4 inches locally more, 271 corridor, Geauga County.
Dan DeRosa with 19 News. Jeff giving us our latest update there. I think we're going to get one more check-in. We saw the end of Vic Gideon's report, and what we'll do is I'm going to bring Vic in. He is in that 271 area. Vic, we just heard you say, and Jeff gave you a compliment there, saying that Vic's exactly right. Good reporting. It is getting better out there.
Much better, and actually the visibility extremely good. That snow, what was happening is those trucks were having a hard time keeping up with the snowfall and the wind that was blowing the snow onto the roads. Now we've got 3 lanes of traffic, not moving fast, but again, moving at 35, which is significantly faster than we saw just maybe 20 minutes ago when we were traveling at 20 or 25 miles an hour. Still sloppy out here, but not nearly as much snow in the air and creating that visibility, those issues there. However, we have seen some fishtailing. We did see a car believed to have rear-wheel drive that had actually gone off the side of the road just about a mile back. So again, there's still some dangers out here as far as needing to be safe. But as far as the roadways now, you're going to be able to get to where you need to go a little bit slower, but certainly not to the point where it almost was impassable at some point. We saw a lot of Odot trucks out here earlier. We saw blades down. Initially, they had put that brine solution to pre-treat the roads. Then we saw them using the salt, but it was no way for them to keep up with it. But again, depending on how long this lull is, we might be able to get down to more bare pavement soon. But we can see here we're traveling on the 3rd lane, and you can see tire tracks. Again, it's not clear, but again, you can see 2 lanes or 2 lines of tire tracks here. So we're getting some good grippage out this way. But again, moving a little bit slower. A lot of spun out cars we have seen. We saw cars struggling to get up ramps. The traction on a lot of these vehicles, especially the ones that are not 4-wheel drive, or definitely the ones that are rear-wheel drive, having plenty of trouble out here. But we are seeing at least traffic passable, and it does not appear to be. Although, again, if you look at the northbound lanes, we're coming up on the 480 split. a lot of cars, and they're not traveling slowly because of the poor conditions, but rather just the volume of traffic, as people are probably running a little bit behind. These cars might have been out on the road or been at their destination by now on a normal day, but this is anything but a normal day.
Vic Gideon, excellent work out there. Stay safe, you and your crew in the snow tracker. Excellent coverage today, giving people the heads up. Vic, truly appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, I'm going to give you another look here at 271. Again, as this lake effect band is really shrunken down, really just making a mess in a portion of Geauga County now, and even that is going to subside after a bit here. Jeff saying things are improving slowly. That is maybe the word of the morning, slow and slowly. 271, traffic is moving, but not at a good clip. People taking their time. I want to remind you that we have news all throughout the day. 11 o'clock on CW43, our noon news on Channel 19. Then, of course, 3.5 hours of news on Channel 19 starting at 3 o'clock. But if things get bad again, if we see another one of these bursts pop up and start causing major accidents, we will come back to you live on our digital platforms. Make sure you have the 19 app, the 19 News app. When you get a push alert throughout the day, you can click on that, and more than likely we will have a video or perhaps be even live in that situation. So it's going to be a rough day. We're not done. We know there's another round coming late this afternoon, 1, 2 o'clock this afternoon into the evening commute. So make sure you stay with Channel 19 to get the very latest. Until then, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News. Have a safe day out there.
19 News is everywhere. Download our CTV apps and follow us on social media at Cleveland 19 News.